At one point, Kamala Harris was asked by a young married couple, what's your plan exactly for bringing down the cost of, well, pretty much everything? And her response was, hang on, I wrote it down so I wouldn't mess it up. In terms of both rightly having the right to have aspirations and dreams and ambitions for your family and working hard and finding that the American dream is for this generation and so many recently for far more elusive than it's been, and we need to deal with that. I feel you, Oprah. I feel you. We are all Oprah Winfrey at this moment.
Swing voters are reacting to Kamala Harris and that disastrous performance she put on last night with Oprah Winfrey at their virtual rally. Now, this comes as no surprise because every time Kamala Harris goes off script, she slips into word salad. And before we get into what these voters have to say, let's just watch one clip. I know it's painful, from that virtual rally last night.
We really would love to know what your plan is to help lower the cost of living.
Yeah, first of all, thank you both for being here. And yours is a story I hear around the country as I travel. And in terms of both rightly having the right to have aspirations and dreams and ambitions for your family and working hard and finding that the American dream is, for this generation and so many recently, far more elusive than it's been. And we need to deal with that. And there are a number of ways. One is bringing down the cost of everyday necessities, including groceries.
So we know at this point it is a habit. It's a pattern. For some reason, she's not the person who can answer questions off script. We know this to be true. I think it's been proven over and over and over again. And if you're wanting to run to be the commander in chief, I think this is one of the weaknesses you don't want to have. It just does not instill confidence in voters when you answer the question like that. Now, understand something. Kamala Harris has surrogates that are going on to the news and making excuses for these poor performances that she has. Like this lady.
Does she need to be more specific for those undecideds about exactly what she's going to do to sort of improve the cost of living issues in this country?
Yeah, well, Peter, first of all, she's been in the race for about seven weeks, maybe 7.5.
She only gets seven and a half more to go.
Right, exactly. So she has laid out a series of policies. She's laid out very specific, concrete plans, too. How is she going to address the housing crisis in this country? How is she going to relieve small businesses? How is she going to allow those small businesses?
Her thing is price gouging. That's not lowering the cost, okay? That's capping the cost. That's not lowering the cost. And to be honest, when it comes to economics, it's a complex thing, okay? So, I don't expect her to be some wizard at this, but it's not landing like it does for Trump. Trump is very clear. I'm going to slash energy prices by drill, baby drill. I'm going to close the border because that's also draining our resources and causing an economic crisis. I'm going to stop spending all this money overseas. Things like that make sense. I'm going to make sure Elon Musk is brought into the cabinet to run a government efficiency program. I mean, he has some very clear stances on the economy. His whole tariff thing, right? I'm going to charge tariffs to companies so we can make more money and promote growth in our own economy. By rewarding people who want to hire manufacturing jobs here. So I think, it's like night and day. And of course, she's going to make excuses because Kamala Harris is a very weak candidate. But again, voters are not buying that. OK, this is why you're hearing from undecided voters in Georgia who, let's just say, is not what Kamala Harris wants to hear. Check this out.
Again, a hands up. Was the economy better under Trump, or is the economy better under Biden and Harris? So hand up if you think the economy was better under Trump, and hands up if you think the economy is better under Biden and Harris. Right. Okay, 7-1. That's pretty clear. Firstly, I just want to ask a general question about Harris. Then we're going to show some clips for the debate. What's your biggest hesitation about voting for Kamala Harris?
Just, is she going to be able to do the things that she says she's going to be able to do? That's, you know what I mean? Just, is she going to be able to do it? That's my big hesitation. Is she going to be able to get it past Congress? You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Yep.
You know,
Mikhail, how about you?
Everything that glitters ain't gold.
Yeah, for sure.
It looks great on paper, but I'm not sure it could translate to politics, and if she'll even be able to get it passed.
Haywood?
My thing is her strength. That's my focus for her. Is she gonna be able to take a punch and give one or two back? That's my biggest thing, and it has nothing to do with her gender, ladies. Okay, but we talking about the highest office in the land.
yeah. If it was Michelle Obama, I would feel totally different.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
If it was
Or
Michelle-
Hillary Clinton, that's what I'm
weak.
saying.
You can't be weak and hold that off.
Yeah, like if you put her next to Michelle Obama, it's like,
Or Hillary Clinton.
or Hillary Clinton, it's like it's no comparison on the strength that I think Michelle Obama or Hillary Clinton would have against her. They would eat her up.
If she was being compared to Michelle Obama, Hillary Clinton, Condoleezza Rice, she would get eaten up for lunch, for sure. I don't think it's a comparison. And that's not to say she's less than anybody else. It's just, as far as political skills go, as far as how authentic each of the other candidates are, she'd be in the last place with Hillary Clinton. You'd put Michelle Obama and Condoleezza Rice ahead of Hillary Clinton and Kamala Harris, right? So it's not even necessarily a gender thing. It's a what have you done for the American people thing. It's a presentation thing. It's an energy thing. And she just does not pass that test. And the only thing that's actually good is that people don't have enough time to sniff out how fake she really is, because it's only been, 60 days or 47 days, and there's 47 days left. So the question is, when people go to vote, will they clearly realize that she is not the best candidate for America, especially after what's happened over the last 2.5 years? We will see. So, of course, the Trump campaign is hopping on this weakness of hers, her inability to answer questions, and they just dropped an ad that really highlights it clearly. Check this out.
When we talk about bringing down prices and making life more affordable for people, what are one or two specific things you have in mind for that?
I grew up a middle-class kid.
Are they better off now than they were 4 years ago?
I grew up a middle-class kid.
When it comes to the economy, do you believe Americans are better off than they were 4 years ago?
So I was raised as a middle-class kid.
Yeah, that was a non-answer. Trump's team pointing out that Kamala Harris still hasn't answered that very simple question.
The first thing I will do to make middle-class life dramatically more affordable is to end Kamala's war on American energy, terminate her Green New Scam, and drill a baby drill. They stole your auto industry, and we're going to bring it back, and it's going to be at a level that it was in its height. Under my leadership, the United States will commit to the ambitious goal of slashing energy and electricity prices by half, at least half. Together we will deliver low taxes, low regulations, low energy costs, low interest rates, low inflation, so that everyone can afford groceries, a car, and a home. Very simple.
Yeah, so again, when they roll her out and she goes unscripted, the campaign is going to hop on her and turn it into another attack ad. And I'd be doing the same thing. And here's the thing. What her campaign fails to realize is in 2020, telling people that Trump is evil, Trump is bad, and you shouldn't vote for him because you don't like him was effective. But I don't believe it's going to be as effective in 2024, only because people have been desensitized to that already. People see the lawfare that's taking place over the last 3.5 years, and people are noticing the results. As I've stated earlier, the short timeline of her campaign helps her in some respects and also hurts her in other respects because people don't know where she stands. But that doesn't stop Trump supporters from doing this to Tim Walz's wife in Georgia yesterday.
Frame her back. And that's what teachers do. We find ways to make a difference. That's what all of you do, and that's why you're here tonight. We believe in each other. We see the potential in one another, And we see the potential for a brighter and a different and a hopeful future that includes all of us. Yes. So here's the thing. People in Minnesota, you might have heard this thing, Minnesota nice. That were very nice, kind people. Well, Tim and I are, I hope. We try to be. But here's what I say.
This describes the type of support both candidates have. So let me give it to you in this way. I love the way that this was described. So Donald Trump, his support is a mile deep, okay? And Kamala Harris' support is like 12 inches deep, but a mile wide. So what does that truly mean when it comes to getting votes? Well, there's no question that whoever's voted for Trump, you're not going to change their mind whatsoever. They are going to show up. And there's going to be a lot of people who show up that are not going to say anything either. And so the question is, will Kamala Harris get that same level of commitment? I don't believe so. I mean, it's going to have to be something where they prove us wrong on this one. Because of such a short timeline when it comes to her campaign, people don't know her like that. People know who Trump is. And so he's the one doing more interviews. He's the one that's putting out more policies, even though people already know what he's going to do. And she isn't. And again, her campaign seems to believe that is the most effective strategy.
Events are, part of a strategy that the Harris campaign is putting out there, which is to largely avoid doing interviews. They're not necessarily settings that where she shines. So they're doing this instead. And this was very different for her. Might it work? Will this be enough? I mean, we have, less than 50 days until the next election. So
the answer is it is not enough. It will work partly. So let me explain. This is a great event. This is a great event. And it's good for her. And listen, especially with Oprah and an Oprah audience, this is really, really important for Kamala Harris because Donald Trump has every base voter he's going to get. She does not have every base voter she can get. And needs about 10 points more black voters in places like Georgia to be where she needs to be to win these swing states. So these are incredibly important moments for her. They are not enough, though. She still has to sit down and answer questions. I'm not inventing this. I talk to swing state voters all day.
And that's exactly the point that I was trying to make to you guys. Trump is in a better position than he's ever been in as far as polling is concerned. He's going to get more votes than he did in 2020. And in 2020, he got more votes than any Republican in history. So he's looking pretty good. And the thing that you hear from a lot of swing voters, and even you and me and everybody and their mom, we're all saying the same thing. It's the cost of everything. All right, so here are some of my takeaways for you. Number one, those black voters in Georgia, that is a huge deal, okay? Obviously, it's a focus group. That doesn't mean they represent every single person in Georgia. But when black people are coming out and saying that about you, you're in trouble. And they didn't say that about Barack Obama. I don't think they said that about Hillary Clinton either. Say what you want about Hillary Clinton. We know Hillary Clinton was confident. You can argue she was a little too confident at times, right? Kamala Harris does not give off that energy. And again, she's the vice president. She's been the vice president for 3.5 years. That seems to be swept under the rug when you're listening to corporate media. They seem to forget that and think she has nothing to do with what's happened over the last 3.5 years. So that's ridiculous. We have two records to look at: Donald Trump and Biden and Harris administration. Biden and Harris administration gets an F. We know this. Donald Trump, give him a B. Maybe he didn't do everything perfectly, but you know what he did do? He didn't jack anything up like they did. And the Oprah event last night, some people say it was a good event for her only because Oprah brings out a lot of women. I could agree with that. But what it doesn't address is the undecided voters who didn't attend that event in the first place. And we'll see the clips on social media. And so one just has to ask, will she continue to do things like that? I mean, she's running out of time, of course. And again, this is on the Democrats. They were so obsessed with Donald Trump, they forgot to prepare the best candidate to run in this election. And so the only person that they can blame when they lose this election is themselves, right? So will it be enough for her to do something like that again? I don't think it's going to work. I just don't think it comes off as authentic to undecided voters. So that's my opinion. What do you guys think about these undecided voters and what they had to say about Kamala Harris? What do you think about that event last night? I want to hear your thoughts and more in the comment section below. If you want to support the channel, go to the link in the description, grab yourself a t-shirt, buy us a cup of coffee. Stay grateful, stay focused, and stay true. Peace.